pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the same manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order number 144, I will, at the appropriate time, direct the clerk to read the said bill a first time. I thank you. Also, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3, I received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the Public Finance Management Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bills number 26 of 2024. The message dated Wednesday, 19th of March 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate, and has dated the 20th of March 2025 of the Public Finance Standing Order of Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bills, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41, and message dated National Assembly in March 2025, hereby convey the following message of the National Clerk of the Senate. Whereas Public Finance Management, the Public Finance Standing Order of Bill, National Assembly Bills number 26 of 2024, was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 90 on the 16th of April 2024 to align the timelines for the passing and consideration of the Finance Bill by the County Assemblies and the National Assembly. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it with amendments on Friday the 14th of March 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the same manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order number 144, I will, at the appropriate time, direct the clerk to read the said bill a first time. Also, Honorable Senators, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3, I received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the Public Audit Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 4 of 2024. The message, dated the Wednesday, 19th of March 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate on Thursday, the 20th March 2025. Now, pursuant to Standing Order 46.4, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the Public Audit Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 4 of 2024, was published by Kenya Gazette Supplement number 28 on 2nd of April 2024, to align the Act with the Constitution following a declaration issued by the High Court and clarify provisions on the recruitment of Auditor General. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it with amendments on Tuesday, 11th of March 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore, in accordance, Clerk, can you help me? Have I read this message? Am I reading it for the second time? Thank you. Now, therefore, in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. And pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the same manner as a bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order 144, I will, at the appropriate time, direct the clerk to read the said bill a first time. Honorable Senators, you may take your seats before I read the third message. Honorable Senators, I have another message to pass. I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.3, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage by the National Assembly of the County Government's Additional Locations Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2025. The message, dated Wednesday, the 19th of March 2025, was received in the office of the Clerk of the Senate on Thursday, 20th of March 2025. Pursuant to Standing Order 46.4, I now report the message. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas the County Government's Additional Locations Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2025, was published by Kenya Gazette Supplement number 12 on the 6th of February 2025 as a bill proposing to provide for additional locations to county governments for the year 2024-2025 financial year, the responsibilities of national government and county governments pursuant to such allocations and for connected purposes. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill and passed it with amendments on Friday the 14th of March 2025 in the form attached hereto, now therefore in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby refer the bill to the Senate for consideration. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 163, which requires that a bill which originates in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the manner as the bill introduced in the Senate by way of first reading, in accordance with Standing Order number 144, I will, at the appropriate time, direct the clerk to read the said bill a first time. Thank you. Next order, clerk.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Senate Majority Leader.
No. No papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, statements pursuant to Standing Order 52.1, the Honorable Senator for Nyandarua County. That statement is dropped. Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on the matter of national concern, namely adoption of 4 chiefs on the assistant chief and civilian in Mandera County. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Mohamed Adao, Chief Wargadut East, together with his daughter, 8 years, Mr. Abdi Hassan Surau, Chief Quramudo, Mr. Abdi Hassan Kulmie, Chief Wargadut Town, Mr. Mohamed Nur Hache, Chief Chachabole Location, and Mr. Ibrahim Gabo, Chief Assistant Wargadut Town, were abducted in Wargadut Town, in Wargadut area in Mandera County on 3rd February 2025 and has been missing for the past 44 days. Mr. Speaker, the chief and assistant chiefs were on duty, official duty, traveling to Elwak Town to join Deputy County Commissioner for the security meeting preparation for His Excellency President William Ruto's week-long development tour of Northern Eastern region. Mr. Speaker, such abduction has prolonged profound
Honorable
impact.
Senators, there is a lot of movement in the chamber. Honorable Senators, kindly take your seat. The good professor, kindly. Proceed, Senator Maria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, such abduction has prolonged, profound impact on emotion, psychological, and financial well-being of affected families. Children in particular may end up in suffering from depression, behavioral changes due to the sudden disappearance of their parents, affecting the family. Affected families may face financial hardships and find it hard to navigate lives and afforded daily household needs, medical care, and other essential items, where those abducted were the primary breadwinners. The impact is even more devastating in these abducted were the primary. The impact is even more devastating in this holy month of Ramadan, where the affected families has to fully engage in prayers and fasting in the midst uncertainty of the whereabouts and well-being of their loved ones. Mr. Speaker, the abducted leaders play an important role in administration and local governance, maintaining peace and security, upholding the rule of law in Mandera County. The abduction has deeply affected the local community, disrupt local governance, and also threaten fragile security situation in Mandera County, which is highly terrorized and the region generally. Mr. Speaker, the abduction is indication of the growing risk faced by the local leaders, especially in Mandera County. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we condemn these tragic incidents, I call thorough investigation to identify and bring to justice those responsible for abductions. Mr. Speaker, the government, through the Ministry of Interior and National Administrations, must urgently take measures to ensure that all the available resources are deployed to secure an immediate and safe release of the chiefs, assistant chiefs, and civilians. Mr. Speaker, the Kenya Defense Forces and National Police Service must intensify operation in the area to locate and rescue these leaders and to neutralize the threats posed by abductor. Mr. Speaker, more specifically, I urge the government to prioritize the immediate and safe returns of these abducted leaders and civilians. Secondly, strengthen security forces and intelligence by enhancing border security and civilian. Mr. Speaker, the third one, strengthen and local infrastructure, education, and create economic opportunities to reduce the number of the person likely to be coerced by militant groups. Fourthly, provide physical support, financial assistance, community engagement program to help the affected families cope with their trauma and uncertainty of the well-being and whereabouts of their loved ones. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I also call upon the Ministry of Interior and the National Administration to provide regular and comprehensive reports on the efforts being made to rescue the abducted leaders to restore the security in Mandera. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Methu, your statement is registered. You may proceed now to read the same.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This is a statement on an issue of national concern. Tribute to the late Honorable J.M. Kariuki on the 50th anniversary of his death. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of national concern, namely to pay tribute to the late Honorable Josiah Mwangi Kariuki, known as J.M. Kariuki, a fearless patriot, a visionary leader, and a champion of social justice. As we mark 50 years since his assassination on the 2nd of March 1975, his life, legacy, and the values he stood for remain deeply relevant to our nation today. Honorable Speaker, J.M. Kariuki's advocacy for the common mwananchi, shook the very foundations of power. He was a man who spoke truth to authority, unafraid to expose the widening gap between the wealthy elite and the struggling masses. His famous words, "Kenya is a country of 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars," still ring true even 5 decades later. Today, despite Kenyans' independence and economic progress, we find ourselves in a situation where a small elite controls the vast majority of wealth, while millions of citizens continue to struggle under the weight of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Born in 1929 in Kabati, Nyandarua County, J.M. Kariuki came from humble beginnings. Despite financial hardships, he pursued education, attending King's College, Budo in Uganda, an opportunity that broadened his political awareness. Inspired by Jomo Kenyatta's speeches, he became an ardent critic of colonial rule. Mr. Speaker, sir, J.M. Kariuki played an active role in the Mau Mau movement, serving as a liaison officer, organizing logistics for freedom fighters. This commitment led to his arrest in 1953, and he spent 7 years in detention camps under the British rule. Upon his release in 1960, he remained steadfast in his advocacy for justice, land reform, and economic equality. After Kenya's independence in 1963, he served as President Jomo Kenyatta's private secretary before becoming a member of parliament for Nyandarua North constituency. His legacy was defined by his outspoken critique of corruption, economic exploitation, and social injustice. Mr. Speaker, sir, J.M. Kariuki's courage made him a target. On the 2nd of March 1975, he was last seen at Hilton Hotel in Nairobi in the company of state security officials. Days later, his mutilated body was discovered in Ngong Forest, sparkling a national outrage. A parliamentary committee implicated senior police and government officers, yet no one has been held accountable, making his assassination one of Kenya's darkest political injustices. As we commemorate 50 years since his passing, we must ask ourselves, how have we upheld the ideals that he fought for? How have we made Kenya a land where all can thrive, not just survive? Sadly, his warnings remain a reality. While we may no longer speak of 10 million beggars, today 50 million Kenyans still face economic hardship, struggling to afford basic needs, access to health care, and secure decent employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, J.M. Kariuki stood for universal and accessible health care. Yet today, millions of Kenyans are trapped in a failing social health authority system, unable to get medical treatment when they need it most. He spoke against economic oppression. Yet today, the cost of living is suffocating Kenyans, with unfulfilled promises of relief and rising unemployment. This anniversary should not just be another ceremonial remembrance. It must be a moment of reflection and rededication to J.M. Kariuki's vision. We must demand greater accountability from ourselves, fellow leaders, champions of economic policies that uplift the poor, and work towards a Kenya that truly serves all its people, not just the privileged few. We cannot afford to let his sacrifice be in vain. May his soul continue resting in peace. May we never forget the lessons he left us. I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Statement pursuant to Standing Order 53-1, Senator Beatrice Ogola. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the import of the statement by the Honorable Senator Medu and the difficulty you will have if you are to accept my request, being that given who JM was, and given that this is 50 years later, and given that JM spoke in this House, could you please try and allow us to say one word to comfort the family and encourage them that JM will never die?
I will, at the appropriate time, give guidance on that. Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a request for a statement on the poor living conditions of police officers' living quarters in Dewa Police Station in Homa Bay County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the poor living conditions of police officers in Dewa Police Station in Homa Bay County. In the statement, the committee should address the following, Mr. Speaker, sir. 1, the state of living quarters for police officers at Dewa Police Station in Homa Bay County, including the availability and condition of basic amenities such as water, as well as sanitation facilities. 2, the framework of the provision of housing and basic amenities to police officers by the government, including the measures put in place to ensure the facilities are regularly renovated and upgraded. 3, the plans and timelines for the construction of decent living quarters for police officers at Dewa Police Station, indicating the budgetary requirements for the same. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the actions being taken by the government to enhance the overall welfare of police officers, particularly with respect to their remuneration and support for their mental and physical well-being. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator John Methu.
Honorable Speaker, I want to seek your indulgence that because I have 4 statements, I read them at a go, if you allow me.
Yes, you may proceed.
A request for a statement on inequitable distribution of fertilizer by the National Cereals and Produce Board. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the inequitable distribution of fertilizer in the highland regions of Kenya as reflected in the latest report from the National Cereals and Produce Board, NCPB, on fertilizer dispatch as at of 11th of March 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, the highland regions of Kenya, known for their high agricultural productivity, rely heavily on fertilizer to sustain food security and economic growth. However, a review of the fertilizer distribution data reveals significant disparities, with some counties receiving disproportionately large quantities, while others, equally dependent on agriculture, receiving far less. For instance, Honorable Speaker, Uasin Gishu County received 413,000 bags, 103, accounting for 20.99% of the total fertilizer distribution, whereas counties such as Muranga received 7,650 bags, Nyeri received 8,760 bags, and Kirinyaga received 280 bags, which is significantly lower allocations despite their agricultural potential. Nakuru County received 204,764 bags, nearly 10% of the total allocation, where counties like Meru received 12,910 bags, and Tharaka Nithi got 5,940 bags received, which are significantly less. Some agricultural counties such as Marsabit and Saburu did not receive any fertilizer allocation at all, raising questions about regional balance in the distribution. In the statement, therefore, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the methodology and criteria used by the Ministry of Agriculture and the National Cereals and Produce Board, NCPB, in determining the fertilizer allocations to various counties. Number 2, justification for the significantly low allocation to certain highland agricultural counties, despite their critical role in national food production. Number 3, the government's strategy to ensure fair and equitable distribution of fertilizer subsidies and to prevent the marginalization of key farming regions. Number 4, evidence on whether farmer registration data and actual county-level demand were considered in the allocation process, and clarification on any inconsistencies identified. Number 5, corrective measures being implemented to address these disparities and ensure that all farmers have fair access to fertilizers. Senator John Medhu, Senator for Nyandarua. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the continued delay in the disbursement of Higher Education Loans Board funds, which has left thousands of university students stranded and unable to meet their basic needs. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite assurances from the government that help funds would be disbursed by Friday, 15th of March 2025, many students are yet to receive their financial aid. Students require immediate and tangible action, not verbal commitments that do not translate into actual disbursements. The failure to release funds in a timely manner has exposed thousands of young Kenyans to evictions, hunger, mental distress, and inability to attend classes due to unpaid fees. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the concrete measures being taken by the government to ensure the immediate disbursement of help funds, including a clear and accountable timeline for payment. Number 2, the total number of students affected by the delay with a county-based breakdown to assess the scale of the crisis, specifying the interventions in place to prevent future delays and guarantee timely and predictable disbursement to all students going forward. Number 3, the financial position of HELB, including the amount allocated for the current academic year, to the total disbursed so far and the outstanding balances. Number 4, the government's plan to enhance HELB allocation and to align with the rising cost of living, ensuring students receive adequate financial support. Number 5, there are accountability mechanisms in place to prevent the recurrence of such delays, including clarity on whether the National Treasury has released the required funds to help. Senator John Medhu, MP, Senator for Nyandarua County. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism regarding the capability of the management of the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperative Society, KUSCO, following financial losses suffered by Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies, SACCOs, in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, this matter is of national concern and urgent action has shaken the confidence of many Kenyans in the SACCO sector, which for a long time has been a safe haven for members' hard-earned savings. Therefore, this management must be queried and those responsible must face the full force of the law. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the extent of financial loss incurred by SACCOs across the county, and particularly Tower SACCO and Moki SACCO, SACCOs in Nyandarua County due to investment linked to KUSCO. Number 2, the culpability of KUSCO directors and senior management in the mismanagement of SACCO funds, including whether they acted negligently or fraudulently in handling investments. Number 3, the specific steps being undertaken to hold KUSCO directors accountable, including criminal investigation, potential asset seizures, and legal actions to recover lost funds. Senator John Muhia Medhu, MP, Senator for Nyandarua. Finally, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order, honorable senators. May the Senator for Nyandarua be heard in silence.
Thank you for protection, honorable Speaker. I see my colleagues are quite excited that I'm now very, very busy. I'm no longer a chairman, so I have a lot of time. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the rapid increase in Kenya's public debt and its implications for the economic stability, financial sustainability, and service delivery. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kenya's total public and publicly guaranteed debt has surged to Kenya shillings 11.02 trillion as of January 2025, accounting for 65.7% of the gross domestic product, GDP. This level of indebtedness exceeds the 55% GDP threshold recommended under the Public Financial Management, PFM framework. The rapid accumulation of debt is compounded by ballooning debt servicing costs, persistent fiscal deficit, and reliance on external borrowing on external borrowing. Of particular concern is the bilateral debt. Bilateral debt stands at 1.09 trillion, which China holds 60.6% of this amount. The country now faces the risk of being trapped in a debt cycle that threatens national sovereignty, economic growth, and service delivery. In the statement, therefore, the committee should address the following. Number one, the measures being taken by government to ensure that Kenya's public debt remains within sustainable levels for safeguarding national development priorities. Number two, the strategies in place to balance borrowing and revenue collection, particularly in light of Kenya's continued dependence on external financing for key infrastructure projects. Number three, the status of physical consolidation measures aimed at reducing wasteful government expenditure and enhancing domestic revenue mobilization. Four, the government's plan to manage debt servicing obligations, including the steps being taken to renegotiate payment terms with major creditors such as China and multilateral lenders. Number five, the impact of rising public debt on critical government services, including education, healthcare, and infrastructure, and whether there are plans to mitigate the economic burden of debt repayment on citizens. Number six, and finally, the accountability mechanisms in place to curb reckless borrowing and ensure that all borrowed funds are utilized transparently, efficiently, and in line with national development priorities. Senator John Muhia Medhu, MP, Senator for Nyandarua.
Order, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, allow me to rearrange today's order paper. We will come back to the remaining statements. However, we will now proceed straight to handle order number 11 all the way to order number 19. Thereafter, we resume normal flow of today's order paper. Clerk, you may proceed to order. Honorable senators, kindly take your seats.
Order number
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Order number 11, motion. Reports of the 63rd and 64th sessions of the OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd and 1st sessions of the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings held in Brussels, Belgium, and Luanda, Angola, respectively. Question to be put. Order number 12, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, Division. Order number 13, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the 2025 Medium-Term Debt Management Strategy, Division. Order number 14, the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, Senate Bills number 36 of 2024, second reading, Division. Order number 15, the Environment Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 23 of 2024, second reading, Division. Order number 16, the County Civic Education Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2024, Division. Order number 17, the Heritage and Museums Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2023, second reading division. Order number 18, the County Library Services Bill, Senate Bills number 40 of 2024, second reading division. Order number 19, report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2023, division. That's all.
Honorable Senators, kindly do take your seats. Now, for order number 11, debate had been concluded. What pending was for the chair to put the question, which shall we proceed to put. That the Senate knows the reports of the 63rd session of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd session of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings held in Brussels, Belgium from the 19th of the 28th to the 20th of June 2023, and 64th session of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly and the first session of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings held in Luanda, Angola from the 17th to the 21st February 2024, which were laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, the 6th of December 2023, and Wednesday, the 2nd of October 2024, respectively. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, for order number 12, this is division, and therefore we need not ring the bell for 1 minute. Honorable Senators, we have Senator Methu and Senator Beatrice. Honorable Senators, we have a very crucial exercise to undertake, which touches on our core mandate. I'll beseech you, Honorable Senators, instead of exiting the chamber, you do that once we are done with the division. I beseech you.
No, this is not good.
Well, the House is about to get into division stage, and this is with regards on the motion on consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the 2025 Budget Policy Statement. This is a motion that is moved by the Chairperson Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, who's also the Mandera Senator, Honorable Ali Roba. And this particular motion, the Standing Committee seeks to have the House adopt that report that was laid on the table of the House on the Wednesday, 12th of March, the year 2025, for the House to adopt as well as approve the 2025 budget policy statement. So this is a motion whose debate and consideration was concluded on the floor of the House. And this afternoon, the members are preparing to get into division on this particular motion with regards to that report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. This is with regards to the budget policy, 2025 budget policy statement. And the members, as we can see on the screen, is that they're trying to find out whether the House has the quorum at this point. At least 25 members will be required to vote on this particular motion. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 83. And this particular voting will be done by the county delegation. All right, let's listen in.
Kindly close the doors and draw the bar. Now, honorable senators, please take your seats so that we proceed. Honorable senators, Senator Boni. Order, honorable senators. Now, we'll start with order number 12, which has already been called out, so I'll proceed to put the question on order number 12. Clerk, is the system up and running? All right. So I'll proceed to put the question. That the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the 2025 budget policy statement laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 12th of March 2025, and pursuant to sections 25(7) of the Public Finance Management Act and Standing Order 1867 of the Senate, approves the 2025 budget policy statement. Now, voting is going to be done electronically. At this juncture, honorable senators, just log out. Log out, and Sergeant at Arms, kindly remove the unattended. All the unattended cards, just pull out. Honorable Ledama, you may proceed. Sergeant at Arms, once you're done, let me know. Sergeant at Arms, you're good? Okay, you may log back. Honorable senators, kindly log in back. You log in and then proceed to vote. Either yes, no, or you may abstain. Voting is underway, honorable senators. So we will proceed, Senator Fatuma, and then once we are done with calling all these orders and voting on the same, we will then call upon those honorable senators who have encountered any technical problem to cast their vote. So, clerk, you tell me when we are ready to move to the next. Are we ready? Okay, prepare the system. We are now moving to order number 13, and I proceed. It's already been called, so I will proceed to pose the question. The Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the 2025 medium-term date management strategy laid on the table of Senate on Wednesday, 12th of March 2025. Honorable Senators, you may proceed to vote. Either yes, no, or you may elect to abstain. Voting is underway. Honorable Senators, we will now move to order number 14. It's already been called, so I'll put the question that the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, Senate Bills number 36 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may now proceed to vote.